All right, welcome everybody to the Akash Steering Committee. I believe this is number 20. It is September 26, 2024. During the Akash Steering Committee meetings, the Akash Steering Committee and the community go over an agenda that I will share on screen right now. Again, the agenda is in multiple parts. You can see past meetings, notes, transcripts, and recordings available on GitHub inside the community repo. We start off by reviewing, discussing, and addressing any community feedback, grievances, or conflicts related to SIG's working groups or anything else. Then we go into project boards. Then we discuss any active GitHub discussions with a focus on GitHub discussions that have a lot of comments, a lot of people talking about it. And then again, see if there's anything else on the discussion side. And then we open up the floor to see if there's any other questions from anybody on the call. Again, I don't have any active discussions slated for today, but I did want to see before I hop into the agenda if there's any items that anybody wants to discuss towards the end of the call. You can drop them in chat. Cool. All right. Getting us going. Again, I just wanted to see if there was anything that anybody wanted to discuss or address, or any community feedback related to SIG's working groups or anything else on the Akash community side. Cool. Again, if anybody has any feedback, I know that people get feedback in Discord or reach out to me in between meetings, but feel free to reach out to myself or anybody. Yeah, we can continue to improve and make adjustments. Cool. I see Kyle dropped a message in the chat, and we'll take some time for it at the end. Thank you, Kyle. All right. Next up is a review of the Akash projects boards. So as everybody knows, there are a couple of project boards that are always public facing. There's a product and engineering roadmap, and there's also a community and marketing initiatives project board. Again, these are project boards that are always transparent and forward facing, related to things like Akash Console, the core product on the product and engineering side, as well as a number of other items. And then on the community side, again, there's a number of efforts that are ongoing. I know that there's been a great deal of progress that has been discussed in various SIGs and working groups, so I don't want to duplicate work. And I know that those teams are actually been traveling a fair amount. And so, I know folks are less than 100% and are on the move. I do want to pass it over to potentially Scott and Artur to talk a little bit about Cosmos SDK 47 upgrade, because I know that there's been a significant amount of work that has been going on with, again, the proposal just passing on chain to support all that work. And I believe we're in the final stages of internal testing by the core engineering team. And then again, there's a number of folks that have already reached out to that are looking to get involved in some more public testing. But I'll hand it over to Artur and/or Scott to maybe talk a little bit more about Cosmos SDK upgrade to version 0.4.7.
Thanks, Noah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I think I'm due for some updates on this particular subject. Well, as you probably know, the upgrade path to the SDK 47 is quite complicated. And we have code base migration for chain pretty much done, and a bunch of migrations and testings are passing well. So that's pretty much a good sign since, I think, the beginning of the August. And we had a couple sort of internal things to prioritize on, and that's why maybe there were not that many movements on the SDK 47. However, I just want to make sure that much we keep going with the things. We just don't always maybe post actual updates. Anyways, at this point, we're pretty much preparing to launch testnet. There are one sort of blocker at this moment preventing me from cutting the releases, and that is related to the end-to-end testing on the actual mainnet state. So just to give a picture, the upgrade is quite heavy, and it will require lots of resources from the validators. So I think right now we just targeted for like 128 gigs of RAM. And to run the tests, we need to have on the testnet like 3 validators. And that means, obviously, if you do the math, 384 gigs of RAM just to test it, just to make sure the consensus is right and so on and so forth. And that test takes quite a lot of time. And sometimes machines on the GitHub Actions don't provide that many resources, so we have to source them ourselves and keep an eye on the things. But hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to solve this particular hiccup that we have and start catching the better releases and fire up testnet. So we can start testing all of the blockchain related transactions and make sure that no existing behavior patterns are broken and everything new in terms of the blockchain works. As soon as we confirm that that is the case, we start adding providers in the network and enhance dancing. So I think that is pretty much it from my side.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions? Again, there will be some, I think the SIG chain meeting for the month of September was postponed as we get ready for, again, a more public testnet with some insiders and just general members of the Akash community to test, help test the upgrade. There will be some more public messaging shared. There will be a SIG chain meeting where folks can ask questions. We can talk about things in a little bit more detail. So look out for that on the calendar upcoming. Real quick, I'm just looking for the message right now, and I dropped it in the validators announcements as well, alluding to some of the stuff that Artur has been talking about, but just about the sheer size of what this upgrade involves. I think I mentioned it in, if anybody here is a validator, or anybody listening to this call later is a validator, there is going to be a requirement for more RAM and CPU. 128 gigs of RAM and 8 cores CPU will be minimum requirements for this network upgrade. I know there's less than that minimum requirements for typical validators, but because of the nature of this upgrade, we're asking for folks to make sure that their resources are up to snuff so that we can have as smooth an upgrade as we have had, in the recent past on a number of occasions. Cool. Again, I know that the product team has been working extremely hard on Console 2.0, a number of different phases. In the SIG providers meeting yesterday, Jigger and Duvall talked at length about some of the things that they've been doing on the provider side of the Console 2.0. I know in previous SIG clients meetings, we've heard from the Akash product team on updates to, again, trial wallets, fiat payments, which is going to be moved to, I think, testing sometime soon. I know this is something that members of the core team and also members of the community have also been looking at to demo, at events, which we'll talk about soon. But I just wanted to see, outside of that, is there anything that anybody from the product team specifically wants to call out here to the community on the steering committee? Don't feel obliged. I know we have, again, SIGs and working groups and other times that we talk about these things, but I just want to see if there's anything that anybody wanted to call out or discuss any further on the product and engineering roadmap. Cool. If not, then again, we'll move along. I know that, again, it's been a very, very busy time. Thank you to all the insiders that have been going to events. Thank you to all, the members of the core team that have been traveling across the world, attending events, putting on events. There's just been a lot going on that front. I did, before we hop into a number of other items that are happening on the community and marketing side, I did want to hand it over to Amanda and potentially Zach, and then other people that were maybe at these events can chime in. But I know there's been a lot of events that have happened since our last steering committee meeting, and then a number of events happening in the next couple of weeks as well. So Amanda, maybe I could kick it over to you to talk about, some of the wins, some of the things that have happened, and what's upcoming.
Yeah. So still trying to catch up on my sleep. That flight from Singapore was horrible, but it was a really good trip. We had 4 insiders came, and we had a main sponsorship for the booth was there. We had Greg was able to get a full-time speaking slot on stage instead of just a panel, so that was really great. I think Greg participated in 8 or 9 separate events. Anil participated in 4. Zach participated in 1 panel. And Akash itself hosted 3 different events. One of them was a rooftop kind of kickoff event in which we had over 200 people show up, which was really super successful and met a lot of really great people. Had some good connections there. We also hosted an AI-powered summit, which was similar to our Akash Accelerate, except just much shorter and smaller. But we had 2 different panels and a couple really great presentations from partners that are using Akash. And we had about 100 people show up for that. And then we did a VIP sort of yacht event, which we invited some special guests to come on board, pun intended. And that was really, really good. So altogether, Chang did participate in a panel, yes. It was not originally on the agenda, but he got invited that week. So that was another great win. So we had 4 different people from our team participate in different panels and multiple media interviews and stuff. So that was really, really awesome. I just did a retro of the event. So that will be, I guess, shared. I don't know how we're going to do that, but just showing all of our different leads and stuff. I think we were able to collect close to 3,000 emails from the events. And yeah, just had a really great time. Thank you all the insiders who showed up and manned the booth and gave out. You'll have to ask Zach. I don't remember how many pieces of merch. I think it was somewhere around 1,300 pieces of merch that we were able to give away. But yeah, it was really awesome.
Thank you, Amanda. And I know, not to put Zach on the spot, but I know that Zach was at both Korea Blockchain Week and Token 2049. I think he's trying to catch up on sleep himself, or he's just splitting time between America and Asia at this point. But Zach, is there anything particularly that you wanted to talk about in terms of Korea Blockchain Week? Because I know there were kind of 2 different audiences, Token 2049 and Korea Blockchain Week.
Yeah, jet lag is no joke. We've Amanda and I are both still in the process of shifting back. Chang is too, I guess. The one thing I'll say from both events is that the insiders absolutely crushed it. I mean, you know, we had 2 booths at both of the events. You know, everyone did such a great job, and it's not nothing to be at those booths like all day. What jet lag? Oh, you know what jet lag, Chang. It's not nothing to be at those booths all day, and you know, the insiders just did a really fantastic job. So shout out to everyone that was there at both of those events and coming up for mainnet next week. The number on the merch you were looking for, Amanda, is 2,000. We gave out over 2,000 pieces of merch across both events, which we've been scaling up our, you know, the merch that we've been taking to these things, and now we're just at a totally different level that we were before. And the merch is really good. I mean, people really love it. You know, when we're giving it out, people will take it and put it right on. So exactly what you want to see there. But overall, it was great. And again, just the insiders, but absolutely amazing. What was the difference between Korea and Singapore? Korea was a little bit more, Korea was a smaller event by a little bit of a margin. Token was much larger and obviously very investor heavy. Maybe slightly more dev heavy in Korea. That's what I felt like in terms of connections, but yeah, Token was, you know, I would call it 3 times the size and you know, much more focused on obviously the token side of things and investments and VC funds and all that.
So thank you, Zach. Thank you, Amanda. Any other questions around events before we move on? Cool. I know that some folks aren't here, but you know, we have a bi-weekly working group around the Akash website and docs. I just want to call out all the people that come to that. You know, it's a very active group. Some of those folks go on to contribute with the website, contribute to docs, then help contribute to console. So it's a very, very active group. Shout out to, Dennis, Zach, obviously Piers from the community, who helps to organize and helps with that group. But again, if anybody wants to get involved a little bit more with the website, or any open bounties on the website and or docs, feel free to join that group. Feel free to look at the issues inside the website repo. That's another great way to get involved. Two things that I want to make time for before I open up to see if there's anything else that anybody wants to discuss on the community and marketing side is, I know that Robert has been leading and pushing forward a couple of initiatives. You can see updates that happen around working group Zealy, and we talk about it. I think there's a working group that happens every 2 weeks that you can join. There's a very, very active Discord channel where you can see what's going on in Zealy, which is a developer onboarding program that Robert and Piper Dev from the community actively work on and lead those efforts. But I do want to call out some work that Robert has been leading alongside some other members of the core team and community. I'll call out BS as well, who's also been a great support from the Netted DAO team around the Akash YouTube. I know that, again, this is something that has been looked at different points. Obviously, with the core team working on so many different initiatives, is something I think we wanted to get some community support for. So I do want to pass it over to Robert for like a minute or two just to talk about what's been going on in that group, and then maybe just, again, continuing to invite people that maybe have some video chops or opinions about YouTube in general to, again, start joining those working group sessions and get involved.
Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, I will quickly say that we are revamping the Akash YouTube, right? BS has given outstanding support. Also, Dennis with the graphic assets. In the Akash YouTube channel, we have all the steering committee call videos, all the 19 calls we got so far. This is the number 20. But all the 19 calls we got so far on the steering committee call are uploaded in YouTube. At the moment, they are unlisted, so nobody can see them unless they have a link. We plan to go live really, really soon with the new pieces of content. So, but like Tyler was saying, if you have interest in YouTube, if you believe you have talents you can use in the YouTube working group, feel free to pass by the YouTube working group channel, and we can take it from there. Next Tuesday, it's October 2nd. No, it's October 1st on next Tuesday. So the next YouTube working group call is happening next Tuesday, the 1st. Feel free to go there so you can get a deeper look on the videos and what we're doing and how we progress into the next phase of this. At the moment, we're uploading recordings for the different calls that we're doing, but we want to expand and upload other kinds of content and create other kinds of content from zero. So yeah, if you'd like to get involved, feel free to go there. About Zealy, we're just wrapping up the sprint number 2, still reviewing lots of submissions, still dealing with some bugs. Some people are trying to game the system, but Benji and I have been doing I would say a decent job mitigating that. We also got lots of feedback from the participants in how we can improve the process of doing the missions, which I'm really thankful for. And yeah, that's the two things I really wanted to cover. Yeah, in case you have any questions, I'm here and also open in the DMs.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert. And just jumping back to the Akash YouTube effort, again, the prompt is really around increasing just awareness on YouTube and exploration around Akash. There's certainly a number of videos around the token and AKT, but creating more content that's searchable around the open framework around Akash, what Akash does, how to use Akash console, how to build Akash into your workflow. I think creating those kinds of videos will go a long way and being able to, again, connect with different kinds of learners that may be trying to use the Akash network. So feel free to get involved. Cool. Again, I know there's a number of efforts going on the community and marketing side. I know Akash Chat API is something that's been ongoing, and there continues to be a number of updates there. Shout out Zach, shout out other members, ZJ, other folks that are working on that. Zach, feel free if you want to talk about that. If not, then again, we can continue to move along. But again, I know there's a number of updates and there's some channels in Discord where people can stay up to date and get connected.
The only thing I'll say is that we did launch Llama 3.2 yesterday, like, a couple hours after it came out. So obviously, shout out to Julius for turning that around about as quickly as you possibly could. If you test it out and you run into any issues, just let us know. It's always a work in progress, but credit where it's due. Julius is absolutely crushing it.
Perfect. Thank you, Zach. Again, Adam Wozni, head of community at Akash, is just getting back from some time away on the personal basis. He has been getting up to speed on everything from Akash EDU to the Insider program, some other initiatives that will get added to this board. So again, continue to look out for updates on the community and marketing side as well as the product and engineering side. And both these boards are available at the Akash Network GitHub org inside the projects area. So again, if anybody has any questions, they can leave them inside specific issues or drop them in Discord. But is there anything else that anybody wants to discuss on the community and marketing side before we move on to other agenda items? Cool. All right. Next up on the agenda, we would typically go over discussions. I just want to remind folks that, again, if you see discussions in there, please look to get involved. Usually how the structure works, and there will be updates made to the structure, whether it be around governance proposals or just in general. What we try to do is have folks that have ideas, thoughts, etc., get involved in Discord, get involved in the SIGA working group at a live meetings. There's meetings that they're happening across a number of different items, themes, etc., on a weekly basis. Get to know people, let people know you, share your ideas with the community. If you don't have time because you have a day job, then usually we ask folks to create a GitHub discussion where they can talk about their idea a little bit more. Again, we have a number of different tags, including ideas where you can talk about integrations, you could talk about collaborations, etc. As much detail as you can provide in these discussions, it goes a long way so that folks from the community don't have to ask questions. Again, if you don't have enough detail, folks are just going to assume that you just don't understand what you're talking about, and then the discussion may not get that much response. But the more detail and the more specifics you can provide on the value add to the Akash network, etc., will go a long way in creating active discussions. The only thing that I will call out real quick is, and then I'll see if there's any other discussions. I know a member of the Akash Insiders started talking about Awesome Akash and needing some improvements to the README file, maybe the structure. This is something that has been talked about in SIG clients for some time. And I know that PyberDev from the community did a version of a PR, just like reorganizing it. Right now, this conversation is on hold because there are implications to Akash console. And we want to make sure that we have a complete picture before we move forward with making updates to Awesome Akash. Again, if there's anything new that anybody wants to add to Awesome Akash, there is a foolproof structure in place for how PRs get merged. There's a number of reviewers that are involved in reviewing the PRs, but I know might be some technical debt, and some structural changes that might be in order. But I just want to let people know that this is something that is being thought about. But again, because of a number of other efforts happening with Console 2.0 and beyond, this is something that we are going to put on hold and discuss probably a little bit further at a future SIG clients meeting. Cool. Any questions there, or does anyone have anything else that they want to have talked about here related to discussions? All right. Moving along. Again, we usually try to have these sorts of conversations in a SIG or working group before having them in a steering committee. But Kyle, I do appreciate you joining the meeting today, and I think we are running a little bit ahead of schedule. It would be great. I know that you had a topic that you wanted to discuss as it pertains to Akash and Alchemy. Again, this steering committee is for efforts that benefit the Akash network. That's what the community and the steering committee is focused on. So any initiatives, integrations, etc., would have to show that kind of benefit to the Akash network for folks to add value. This is a very vocal community, both folks on this call and just generally in the community. So that's something that has been consistent since the beginning. So if you have like maybe a 30-second pitch that you want to talk about, and then maybe we could take this to a SIG or a working group, or you can create a discussion. I do want to give you some time, Kyle, to talk on this call because you are here. So the floor is yours to talk for a quick second about Akash and Alchemy.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. And I was, the reason why I joined today is I think I linked up with one of your colleagues on Telegram, and they said maybe this would be an appropriate forum. But anyways, keeping it super short and tight here. We at Alchemy, we're helping a lot of like AI projects and decentralized compute projects launch their own chains on EVM. And I've been familiar with Akash for like a while. And saw that there might be like a strong fit. And so I wanted to just reach out and get feedback. Maybe there's some other gaps in our products that we need to build to be good for like the AI and decentralized compute like industry, but we're planning on making some pretty big asymmetrical bets for teams like this in the space. So that's kind of it. So like a direct ask would be like, hey, maybe we can help you launch a chain. The secondary ask would be, would love to get feedback on what products we can build that would be useful for projects that are similar to yours.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I can follow up. Not really sure who you talked to, but I will make sure to follow up with you online about potential next steps there, if any. But again, sorry for if somebody misled you. We try to have a little bit more refined discussions at this part, but again, because you were here, I just wanted to give you some time to just talk for a second.
Hey, I appreciate it. It was cool listening in. I've never been a part of something like this, so it was cool to watch and learned a lot. And thanks for letting me hang on and listen. So I really appreciate it.
No, much appreciate you, and I'll follow up with you
Awesome.
Following this.
Thanks, Tyler.
Thank you. Cool. Just want to see if there's any other topics that anybody wanted to discuss at this point. All right. Looking ahead, again, I'm sure there will be a number of updates made from the Akash Console product team on all the work that they've been doing. We got an update from Archer, and as we look forward, there will be, I know, some testing. Again, if you want to get involved in that testing, please make your voice heard in SIG Chain. There will be a SIG Chain meeting, I think, happening in a week or two. We'll talk more in depth as we get ready for what will be a massive Cosmos SDK upgrade to Cosmos SDK 47. Again, there's a number of events coming up, including Race Summit and Masari Mainnet, and a number of other items happening in October. There's just a number of things happening across the entire Akash ecosystem. I just want to shout out everybody here for all their efforts. Thank you for taking the time here today, for getting involved, for making your voices heard. Thank you to all those that are listening in and watching this later. Feel free to join a SIG or working group. You know, if you don't know which one to join, please just ask in general chat or ask an insider or myself about things that you're interested in. And I know as, again, console continues to mature, there'll be more opportunities to contribute there. I know there's, again, a number of opportunities being created by SIG Design around the website, et cetera. So please look to get involved, and we'll continue to, again, appreciate those contributions. like always, the man with the last word. Go ahead, Chang.
Apologies. Come on. I'm trying to wait for you to finish up your beautiful tie out now before I jump in here. But I definitely want to reiterate the importance of the community here and the contributions by everyone. I mean, just proof is in the pudding, and I want to put this in recording and in writing, and of course, everyone here to listen to live, right? So, folks, obviously, the Maxes and the folks over, Jigar and those and Praetor are kind of the OGs in the space, right? But just even recently, those who have contributed meaningfully to Akash and like ZJ and now even his brother, right, are started off contributing in some lightweight fashion that kind of continue to develop and now ostensibly part of the core team, right? So that's been absolutely a huge boon. And then Domi has been a huge boon and a great find in the community for us. And so shout out to all of you guys there. So and we're going to probably work on something with a little bit more involvement with Domi as well. And so please do come in if you're willing to help, willing to do stuff for Akash. There's a lot of room to grow. We are still very early in the kind of stages of development here. So all the help and all the expertise we can get from an extremely technical and capable community is super welcome. And so thank you again for all. And please don't, there is a path to getting more involved and doing a lot of awesome things here on Akash with us in the greater team.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Chang. Cool. If there's nothing else, then again, we can wrap up a little bit early. I know it's been last meeting was quite long with all the active discussions, and now we're in a busy period with events. Thank you to Amanda and Zach for all the updates they gave on the events. Hope you both get some rest along with Chang and Neil and others. And again, looking forward to a number of SIGs and working groups as we look ahead. And please look to get involved, as mentioned, as Chang mentioned. If you need any help or support getting involved, again, reach out to a member of the core team or an insider. We'll get you started, but much appreciate all of you. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day, and we'll continue to talk online, and we'll see you in the metaverse.